failure is part of the process. Like, not knowing what to do is part of the process. So if I could change anything, it's to just like switch that mindset. I'm Rachel McGalliard, and I am the Chief Strategy Officer at Triple Ten. I started early in the coding bootcamp days, working in states like Kentucky and Ohio. We especially were excited when we saw women take our programs. I think it's diversified so much, the landscape, the language, the sort of openness, I think, of the space, because it touches so many different professions now. It's much more accepting to everyone versus how it felt in the early days of very much being sort of a male-dominated field. You know, it's just a matter of believing in yourself enough to know that you're the right person for the job. It's not about male or female, and just kind of digging in and saying, like, this is what I'm doing, this is what we're doing, and, you know, you're working with me. It's our obligation as women in STEM to just always be visible, and that young girls and women in high school and college see that there are other women in these fields, and they see themselves. Being vulnerable is a superpower. It's not something we should give negative feedback about to our colleagues, and especially stereotyping women as emotional. Like, it is absolutely okay to say, I am incredibly stressed because I've been up 3 nights in a row with a crying infant. Or you're worried about an employee who's going through a really tough situation. Being able to openly even use that word vulnerability, I think, makes for much better leadership teams and companies. We have multiple facets to ourselves and our lives and our personal life and how we feel about the world. And so we need to be able to feel comfortable to be ourselves. And as a person in a C-suite position, I don't think we should be asked to hide those pieces of ourselves. Just like leave the self-doubt at the door. I feel like a lot of the successful men that I encountered early on in tech are always willing to fail forward, right? They're willing to bang things up and make mistakes. Failure is part of the process. Like, not knowing what to do is part of the process. So if I could change anything, it's to just like switch that mindset of fear of failure to like embracing the discomfort and just be curious. Like, believe in yourself and keep moving forward in those roles, because like the more you make mistakes, the more you learn. Do it. I mean, seriously, what's the worst thing that can happen? Like, you learn something new. And if it doesn't work, you know, which is worst case scenario, what did you learn? That it's not for you. I think fear gets so much in the way. And I think for a lot of women, especially, we have to ask ourselves all the time, like, what would I be doing if I wasn't afraid? And fear is often the number one blocker of why we don't do things in our lives, men and women. And so I think that just don't be afraid to get into something because it's not a known quantity. Nobody knows what they're getting into. You just have to take the step and then a step in front of that and just keep going with it until you decide if it's for you or not.